in the garage today. Back in the garage today. Get in the garage. Back in the garage today. What's going on, guys? Back in the garage today. I've got Pete's V-Strom sitting on the lift once again. Job we didn't get to last weekend. We are actually going to replace his exhaust, so we're going to show you how to go through and remove this exhaust. We haven't done this before, so we're going to learn just as you guys do. So let's get to work. Okay, so we're going to start out on this pseudo skid plate on the front here. It's plastic. We got 5mm Allen bolts to pop those off. We're going to need to take that off because we're not just doing a slip-on. We're doing a full exhaust all the way back. We need to be able to get to that front cylinder, so we'll start on this skid plate. Alright, so we got a couple of the bolts here on this side undone. You can obviously see we got the upper one and the lower. Now we're going to move over to the left-hand side of the bike. So we're just going to throw that skid plate out of the way and then move on to the next part here. So that we've got a little bit more room to work here, we're going to remove the rear passenger peg stay. Those are 6mm? Yeah. 6mm Allens on each of those. Alright, so you can see Pete's removing the 4mm Allens here on this heat shield on the rear pipe. We got what, 1, 2, 3 of them on the black piece. So the main reason we wanted to get that stuff removed is we want to be able to get to this O2 sensor, get it pulled out before we take everything else apart, so we got a little bit more stable platform to work on. I guess 17mm on this, we'll find out in a second. 17?
Yes, sir.
There we go. We'll get that O2 sensor pulled out of there. Alright, so there is the O2 sensor removed, and we'll figure out what we want to do next here. We're just figuring this out as we go along. So Pete's got a 12mm wrench there for that exhaust strap. We're going to loosen that up, that way we can slide this thing out here in a minute. So Pete's up there on the front cylinder after we loosen that strap up. He's got a 5mm Allen on there. They weren't actually in there very tight. We're going to pull both of those bolts out. So Pete does not have 3 hands. That's Noah helping us out a little bit. We're back down here loosening up the strap the rest of the way. Got smart, got a 12mm combo ratchet wrench to make it go a little bit faster. Okay, so we've got a bolt down here, 12mm. Just be careful, there's some spacers and washers and stuff on there in case they fall out. I think that's just a rubber grommet in the maybe in the frame there. We're gonna go ahead and make our way up here on the main exhaust pipe or silencer if you're a dirt bike rider. 12mm on these bolts as well.
You're gonna be nothing silent about it here in a few minutes.
So while Pete's over there removing the bolts on the silencer, this bolt right here, 12mm, we're going to pull that strap off, so then we ought to be able to slip this pipe off of the bike. Okay, so you can see I got the bolt removed there on the rear cylinder on the exhaust strap. As usual, when things don't want to come apart, just grab your dead blow hammer and whack on it.
Beat on it.
So we got it off the bike, and that thing,
that's what the stock one weighs?
It is heavy. Hand him the Akrapovic there. Granted, it's missing one of the little pipe pieces.
That's how much weight he lifts. You know what? Where's the scale?
I can get one. Alright, so the stock exhaust weighing in a little over 17 pounds. Now we're going to check the aftermarket exhaust. And aftermarket exhaust, just not quite 6 pounds, but over 5. 16 ounces would make it 6 pounds, so a little under 6 pounds. And what was the other one? 17. Huge weight savings between the two. So Pete, that means you can eat a big dinner tonight because you just saved 12 pounds on the bike.
Like I wasn't gonna eat a big dinner anyway.
Alright, so we're just kind of fitting things up right now. We slid the front pipe on. You notice we don't have the spring on there yet. We're going to have to make sure we get the angle and everything right here. And I'm going to start buttoning this thing up. We'd show you what's going on in that rear cylinder, but to be fair, we can't see what's going on there right now either. Just trying to slide it on over top of there. So we've got this loosened up front here just to give us a little bit of give in order to get this front pipe connected on. Again with the hammer. So we ended up just pulling that front pipe all the way off to get this lined up better. The only thing we got holding it back here, this isn't even spun in all the way. I just stuck that through. That way it keeps everything kind of in position where it needs to be. Pete's going to get these front header bolts back through, and then we should be able to start tightening things down. So the one thing you're gonna have to do, there is this bung here that slides down into place, and then that'll thread down in with your O2 sensor. I think we should eliminate that, but maybe a later date.
Yeah, not today.
So with everything fit up, obviously we've got to tighten down the clamp on the front, clamp on the rear cylinder, and then get these couple of bolts back in on the silencer, and then this bolt back in down here. So here where we're connected on the pipe, you do have a spring that goes on there. Obviously on a Suzuki, you should use your KTM spring puller. Hopefully I don't lose an eye here. I might turn around.
Somewhat anticlimactic.
Got it locked on place. All right, so we got everything on the exhaust hooked up. You obviously have these two bolts up here. You don't actually reuse that bottom bolt below the foot peg that we had before. And then the clamps on there have all been tightened down, and you've got the O2 sensor in place. Next up, a couple little body panels and stuff we took off to just give us a little bit more room, as well as the rear passenger pegs. Get those put back on, and then we're gonna fire this thing up and see what it sounds like. All right guys, so we got the exhaust totally bolted up, bike all back together. I'm gonna give you a before of what the bike sounded like, and then we're gonna start it up and you can hear the aftermarket exhaust. So this is what it sounded like before. Now this is the after with the new exhaust. Definitely got a much throatier sound there. And we saved 12 pounds. All right guys, so that's it. That's how you install an aftermarket, or I guess to be fair, you know, a factory exhaust back on a V-Strom 650. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider hitting that subscribe button, because if you like motorcycles, this is the place to be. If you have any questions about this exhaust or any questions about the process, let me know down in the comments section below. I can't tell you how to get one as cheap as Pete did on Facebook Marketplace. It was a steal. And as always, I'll talk to you again soon.
See ya.
Later.